permission to record. Paki-chat na lang, kaya voice out na lang.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. All right. So let me record this. All right. So we were looking at ggplot last time, and we said that a very powerful package that we can reinforce ggplot2 with is flexdashboard. Kasi yung mga output na plots na makukuha natin sa ggplot, pwede nating i-post yon sa net, no? Pwede tayong gumawa ng dashboard. So flex dashboard, we said we can easily come up with a flex dashboard. How do we do that? Diba, create an R markdown file, and then instead of the document, we use a template. And then dito sa template na to, you should have already the flex dashboard if you installed that package. So siguro hindi tayo magkapareho kasi may mga na-install ako dito na hindi nyo pa na-i-install, no? So flex dashboard, okay. So it will open an R markdown file, and dito yung YAML niya, title, and then you have this, no? Flex dashboard. So my default na orientation at saka vertical layout, which we're going to discuss in the course of this topic. Now, if you notice, guys, dito, my default na library, flex dashboard, tapos include is equal to false, so that when this is needed, hindi niya iraran tong flex, itong library na to. Now, notice that there are two dash lines. No? Ibig sabihin nun, two dash lines indicate that there are two columns. Now, ilang pages to? How many pages do we have for this for this dashboard? Only one. How do I know there's only one? Kasi you have only wala tayong. Okay, so let me illustrate that. Pag equal sign naman, guys, 14 minimum, that means that you have one page. So this is, let's call this page 1. Just to show the template, page 1, Control C, and then let's create another page here, Control V. So this is page 2. So we have two equal signs, no? That means that you have two pages. So gayahin pa rin natin to, no? Let me just copy this, Control C, just to show the template. Control V. Okay. So let me illustrate. All right. So page 1, guys, that's one page of your dashboard. So you notice that you have two dashes here. Actually, ang minimum lang naman niya 14, no? Okay, so hindi naman natin kailangan talaga ng maraming dashes. Minimum 14, then that already indicates that that's a column for your dashboard. So here you have this setting, data width is equal to 650. It indicates that the column setting for this part of your page is 65%. Kasi ang total dapat ng data width is 1,000. So 650, 350, that's 1,000. So the first column occupies 65% of your page. The second column occupies 35% of your page. Tapos, in the first column, meron tayong chart A. No? Tapos, dito natin ilalagay yung code para makreate si chart A. Tapos, sa second column naman, we have two charts, chart B and chart C. No? And then, sa next column, okay, let's make this, kunyari, let's make this 500. So, split sila, 500, 500. Let's call this chart E and chart XYZ. Okay, so I'm just giving you guys the template. Ito, W-I-N, win. Okay. So this is our template. So what do we expect out of this? It's a dashboard where you have two pages, page 1 and page 2. For page 1, guys, you have two columns. Okay, this is, let's call this chart A yung pangalan nitong chart na to. Okay, dalawang columns. Tapos ito naman si second page. Let's make this para for just to illustrate what happens with the template. Let's call this chart 1, 2, 3. Okay, so let me make this 300, 200, and this one as 300. Kasi dapat guys yung total na width ng columns is 1,000. So we have 500, 300, and 200. That means guys, tatlong columns yung page 2 natin. Okay, so let's see how this turns out, guys. Okay, tanong ko lang guys, are you following the example? Are you doing this? Kasi kung hindi, hindi na ako magbibigay ng time. Okay, anyway, naka-record naman siya guys, so you can follow it on your own. So let me knit this. Knit to flex dashboard. Okay, so if I knit this guys, tatanungin kayo kung saan nyo isi-save. Okay, so let me just save it in here, flex dashboard, try 1. I'll just call it try 1. Save. And then pag sinave ko na siya, magdi-default na siya dito guys, sa R Markdown. Okay, ininit na niya, and then i-generate na niya yung dashboard. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Untitled kasi hindi natin linagyan ng title dito, no? Hindi ko linagyan ng title. But now you have the two pages. We have two pages, page 1 and page 2. Si page 1, anong laman? You have the first, di ba, isang chart ni page 1 and 65% yung width niya. And then there are two other charts in the second column, chart B and chart C, and they account for 35% of the total space. Okay, then in another page, page 2, yung create natin. So remember guys, tatlong columns yun, no? This is 50%, this is 300%, this is 30%, 20%. Yung sa data width na linagay natin. And then, siyempre guys, wala pa nag-appear na chart kasi wala pa tayong linagay na code dun sa charts natin. Okay, of course, you can insert more pages and you do other things with the dashboard. If you want really more complicated, talagang mga cutting edge na mga plots, tsaka then you can use the Shiny. No? Si Shiny guys, it's a package. So actually marami ng packages ngayon. Shiny. Okay, Shiny package guys, it's an R package and it's really designed for creating desktop dashboards. No? Okay, but it's a little bit more challenging as far as coding is concerned. So if you're really keen on studying making dashboards, then this is the way to go, guys. Marami namang tutorial ng Shiny. Only that the learning curve is about steeper. No? Mas steep yung learning curve yan. Pero guys, I'd like to encourage you kasi kung tutuusin, wala namang hindi matututunan kung gusto natin, di ba? Alright, there are other packages that can also help in creating dashboards. Okay, meron tayong HTML widget, meron tayong leaflet, no? I leave that to you to discover what are the other packages that we can use in coordination with R to create dashboards. But for our purposes now, since parang ano lang to, this is more of a by the way lesson, we'll be using Flex Dashboard. Okay, so let's open now our file. So kindly make sure that you have installed these packages and I'm going to run it. Okay, load natin yung mga packages natin. Si Collapsible Tree, makikita natin yung application yan mamaya. Tapos let me Tapos si GG Themes, this is a very potent package also which is used in coordination with ggplot2 para ma-expand yung mga themes, no? Alam naman natin yung mga themes, di ba? Yung mga non-data yan na ginagamit natin to enhance our plots in ggplot2. 3mapify to map a tree sa tree map to or a heat map. And ggalt, ggrepel, parang pareho din kay ggthemes pang-enhance ng ggplot natin. Okay, so we're going to use the the Gapminder package which comes with a package, a dataset called Gapminder. So tingnan natin dito, Gapminder. Okay, so dalawang Gapminder na lumalabas, yung isa Gapminder unfiltered. So this is also a data set containing 3,313 rows. Si Gapminder naman, mas konti siya. Okay, so let's look at Gapminder. Yan. So what does this consist of? Sabi, it's an excerpt of the Gapminder data containing life expectancy, kung ilang years daw nabubuhay yung mga tao sa country na yun, GDP per capita, and population by country. So we're going to use this to draw plots, and then we're going to knit it to flex dashboard para makaka-generate tayo ng dashboard. No? By the end of the session today, matatapos natin itong 200 lines of code dito, matatapos natin. Pero hindi pa yung tapos. We'll continue with that next meeting. And that ends our discussion on Flex Dashboard. So we go now next to data wrangling and data manipulation. Okay, so ito yung mga variables. But let's now create an object called GM. Okay, kasi nung rin na natin tong data Gapminder. Okay, so lumabas dito, no? So hindi pa natin nakikita kasi hindi pa natin view, naka-promise pa lang siya. Let's now create another object GM. Kasi mahaba yung Gapminder, para lang shortcut, no? Okay, run natin ulit. There. Okay, so we now have Gapminder and GM. Pareho lang sila. So let me just take a look at GM. So the variables are country, continent, year, life expectancy, population, and GDP per capita. So if you notice, guys, yung year na to, meron 1952, 57 hanggang 2007. Okay, if you recall, ano yung tatlong basic types of data? So first you have the cross-sectional data. Okay, then you have your time series. Then you have your panel. Ito yung tatlong types ng data, di ba? So yung cross-sectional, anong klaseng data to? Cross-sectional data involves several units, several identities, several, kunyari, kung yung variable natin, if we're looking at countries, so iba't ibang countries yun. Kaso, anong condition niya, it's like a snapshot at a particular point in time. So kunyari, we're looking at GDP, GNP, population, inflation, life expectancy, etc. for several countries in year 2000. That's called a cross-sectional data. Kasi isang time frame lang. Okay? On the other hand, a time series, ano kaibang time series sa cross-sectional data? Si time series, guys, you're only looking at one individual, one unit. No? Kunyari, panay Philippines lang. GDP, GNP, etc. ng Philippines. However, captured at different time periods. Kunyari, from 1950 up to year 2020. That's what we call a time series data. Okay? Iba't ibang variables, yung GDP, GNP, etc. However, we're taking a look only at one unit, isang unit lang si Philippines, no? Pero taken across several time periods. So that's what we call a time series. How about this one, guys? Itong data natin, anong klase ito? Meron kang Afghanistan, may Albania ka, there are 1,704 observations. If you take a look, may Chad, etc. May Philippines din dyan. So several units guys. Pero anong time frame? Anong time frame ang ginagamit? Isang time frame lang ba? Snapshot lang ba to ng one point in time? Answer, guys? Answer? Paki-chat or unmute yourself? Does it only take data at one point in time? Hindi, no? Okay, I think you answered. Yeah, correct. Thank you. Thank you for answering. That's correct, no? No. We're taking a look at it from different time periods, 52, 57, 5-year periods to hanggang 2007. And this type of data, so several units, no? Several units being considered, different time frames, ang tawag dyan, panel data. Okay, others call it panel time series data. It's a combination of cross-sectional and time series. Okay, so ang data na gagamitin natin is a panel data, okay, because it has the element of a cross-sectional unit because may individual time points, ano, 1952. So dito may 1952, may 1952 sa bawat countries. Meron din 1957, so that makes it also a time series. No? Okay, so it's a combination of cross-sectional and time series, so we call it a panel data. All right, so going back to our code. Okay, ano nangyari dito? Okay, so may GM tayo. All right, now we'd like to create another object. Okay, kasi if you notice guys, wala tayong GDP dyan, di ba? Wala tayong GDP. Meron tayong GDP per capita, but since meron tayong population, then we can easily introduce another variable and call it GDP. So let's do that as an exercise. Actually, part to ng discussion for next week. Pero marami na rin tayong ginawang data wrangling, guys, or data manipulation by using the pipe operator na nanggaling sa magrittr package na ginagamit sa dplyr. Remember, ano ibig sabihin itong percent greater than percent? It means and then. So here we're creating an object called GM1. So initially we're using GM, diba? May object na tayo na GM. And then we're going to use this dplyr function filter. Remember guys, before, yung filter, ginagamit yan in order to modify the number of rows. Okay? So si filter ginagamit sa rows, pati si slice, ganun din. No? Si mutate naman, ginagamit yan for columns. So kanya-kanya silang yung mga functions in dplyr they have their own functionalities. So we said that yung year natin is equal to max of year. Ano ba yung maximum ng year, guys? Sa data natin, the maximum year is 2007. Therefore, we're creating now an object in the GM1 na lahat to 2007 lang. No? Kasi sabi natin yung year dapat maximum ng year. And then, i-arrange daw negative population. The presence of the negative here indicates that it should be arranged from highest to lowest. Kasi, ang arrange, guys, ang default niyan, lowest to highest. So, pinapa-arrange natin si population. So, pinapa-sort natin by population from highest to lowest because of the negative here. And then, slice daw. Ano ibig sabihin ng slice? Well, it's a chop, no? Ibig sabihin from 1 up to 50. So, yung top 50 lang in terms of population. And then mutate, okay? Mutate is used to modify, change, remove, or add, okay? Add a column, a variable, which we're calling GDP. No? Tawag natin dun sa variable ng GDP na yan. Tapos, it's GDP per capita times population. Okay. Meron ba yan sa Kunin natin lang sandali, guys, ha? Kunin natin names GM. Let's use the function names. Names GM object. Okay. So ito yung mga variables natin, country, year, continent, life expectancy, GDP per capita. So, tama yung spelling natin. I just wanted to check kung tama yung spelling natin. Meron tayong population multiplied by GDP per capita, that gives us the GDP. Okay? So if we run this, guys, it will create an object, a data frame called GM1. So let's run this. Okay, yan, GM1. Tingnan natin si GM1. Okay, yun. Okay, so ilan lang siya? 50 lang, no? 50 lang kasi initialize natin to eh. Okay, and then how is it arranged? Notice that it's arranged from highest to lowest. Nauna si China, 1.3 billion, tapos si India, 1.1, and then US, 301 million. Indonesia is 223. This is as of 2007. Philippines was ranked 91 million, rank 11. Hindi ko pa na-check kung as of 2020 ano ba yung standing natin sa global demographics. No? Bangladesh, ang liit-liit na bansa, no? Pero 150 million. Bangladesh is, I think, mas malaki pa yung land area natin. Oh, I might be mistaken. Pero talaga, Brazil is has a big land area. Indonesia has, I don't know, X times land area as ours. Pero talaga tayo din densely populated din eh. Okay? Then, sa GDP per capita, tayo 3,190. Wow, we pale in comparison with Mexico, no? 11,000 si Mexico eh. Japan is 31,000. Nigeria, mas mataas tayo. Bangladesh, definitely mas mataas tayo kaysa kay Pakistan. Okay, China has 4,959. So, I think ang pinakamataas si US, no? It's 42,000 okay, per capita. All right, so that gives us all the 50 top in terms of population. So dito kasi natin initialize in terms of population. Okay, so let's go back to our code. Okay, so, okay, ito na guys, tingnan nyo ha. So this is now the first part of our page of our dashboard, no? Part 1 tapos equal sign, no? So linagyan ko lang ng arbitrary title, Part 1, GDP facts and figures. And then column, okay, data with is equal to 500. And then background.bg green. Kaso nga lang guys, I'm having problems with this. It's not running as far as I'm concerned. Pero lagyan lang natin, guys, tingnan nyo sa inyo. Hindi ko alam kasi minsan nagkakaproblema yung ano ko yung sub dashboard ko eh. Okay, so this is you can use this to change the background. Then ito, tatlong hashtag, ibig sabihin this is our first chart, no? First chart natin. Okay? So anong laman na to? Okay, so this is close ko lang muna. Okay, so this is our first plot. So we're creating an object called P1. Ano laman itong P1 na to? ggplot siya. By the way, guys, ito yung reference natin, R. Okay. O nga pala guys, oftentimes it's also good, especially kung mahaba yung program nyo, no, to give a name to your chunk. Here, I can call this, kunyari, wait ha, R, then ano ba to? GDP1. Kunyari lang ha, GDP1. No? Let me check guys kung pwede bang R1? Let me check ha. Tapos tinang ko to. Okay. So, hindi ko pa kasi pala nararun, no? Wait. Huh? So, let's run this before we study the code. Run ko muna to. Okay, ayaw niya kasi hindi pwedeng lagyan ng 1 to. Huh? Ano, hindi lumalabas yung run. But if I delete that, yan. So, hindi siya pwedeng lagyan ng R1. So now I can run this. Okay, so this is the plot for that. Yeah. Okay, let's study first the code. Now, tingnan nyo guys, oh, GDP1. Nakalagay yung ano, yung pangalan ng code. So if you have several chunks, so makakatulong to by putting a name, a name to your chunk. Dito nakalagay chunk 1 setup, data, GDP compute, and then ito, chunk 4, okay, GDP 1. Okay, you can give a meaningful name, no? Meaningful name. Tapos itong part 1, ano to? Ito yung name ng ano natin, name ng first page. And then yung column, okay, yung first plot, etc. The reason why I'm saying this is because sometimes it can become very unwieldy if you have a big file, tapos ang dami na, tapos minsan kailangan mong puntahan yung ibang portions nun. Tapos ang hirap if you're just going to scroll with your mouse, no? You can use this as a tab or as an index in order to find the chunk, code chunk that you're interested in. Anyway, so ito yan guys, no? Gplot2, we have the object GM. Tapos we're mapping the x-axis, GDP per capita, and life expectancy. So here, expect a plot where your GDP per capita is on the x-axis and life expectancy is on the y-axis. Sometimes guys, yung x at saka y, minsan malalaki, no? Or mas malaki yung isang variable related to the other variable. So oftentimes, it might be good to scale your variable. Tingnan lang natin sandali si GM. Okay, si GM1, kunyari. Kunyari, ipa-plot natin guys si GDP, no? And life expectancy. So si GDP, that's it's in the billions, no? Times 10 to the power 10. It means in the billions to, no? Power 11. Samantalang si life expectancy, tigta tens lang. So pag ganyan guys, medyo mahirap din i-plot. Okay? It's better to scale. Okay, and one way to scale it is to get the log. So naalala nyo guys, here I'm getting the log 10. Pwede rin naman log lang, yan, ln yan, no? Natural logarithm. If it's log 10, then alam natin na base 10 yung logarithm nito. So here, what we're doing is, we're faceting by continent. So expect a values, tab sa values, no? Na by continent. Kasi there are 5 continents in this data set. So si x guys, scale x log 10, ginawa nating log 10. So ang gagawin dyan sa pagplot ni x, yung ano natin, yung GDP per capita, kukunin yung log 10 nito. So that will scale this. It will be reduced into a lower number. So mas madali siyang i-manipulate, no? Tapos, alam natin to, may point siya. So this is scatter plot kasi pareho namang maganda siya because pareho namang quantitative variables to. And then we draw a smooth line, di ba? Yung length yung width ng line is 2. And ang default kasi lalagyan ng confidence interval. So here it's being removed. Tapos title, X label, Y label. Okay, itong theme WSJ, guys. Okay, it's coming from this one. It's coming from this package, ito, GG themes. No? So kunin natin to. Okay, sandali mali. So let me ask for the help for GG themes. I hope you also develop that habit. Use the help function. No? Dito hindi siya directly, but you can go to the CORAN, no, in Comprehensive R Archive Network, in order to get the documentation for GG themes. But it's just a package that contains extra themes, scales, and geoms and functions related to ggplot2. So reinforcement siya sa ggplot2. Nung unang linabas si ggplot2, limited guys yung mga geoms, yung mga themes. Now, ang dami ng mga ggalt, ggrepel, ang dami ng mga packages that is relevant in order to reinforce or expand the capability of ggplot. Okay, so balik na tayo dito. Pinakita ko lang sa inyo guys na sige, itanong natin to Itong theme, Control C, question mark, control V. So, anong klase ba yan? Yan. So this is from GG Themes. Okay, so this is the theme based on the plots in Wall Street Journal. Kung nakakabasa kayo ng Wall Street Journal, guys, mapapansin nyo na maganda. No? Maganda yung pag-plot nila. Okay, so with GG Themes, guys, pwede na natin kunin yung plotting format ng the Wall Street Journal. So you can also look at this as a sample. I'll not run it, but again, I'd like to encourage you to do that. Okay, so if I run this, guys, so P1 here will print the plot. Yan, tingnan nyo. Okay. So it's a lot better than the drab, no? Napakaliit na napaka quote-unquote, relatively mas pangit na na just default yung theme BW, theme minimal, no? Theme gray. Okay, so this is a lot better. Yung legend niya nasa taas na kagad. Nakalagay yung pangalan, continent. Of course, we can expand this a bit. Okay, so pwedeng pwedeng maganda for dashboards, maganda for printing, for presentation. Okay, bakit ayaw niya? Okay, anyway, so ulitin ko Yan, medyo nagtatagal lang. Ayan. So this one. So if you want to run this here sa console, para you can do that, no? So sige, example lang. Control C, Control V. Enter. Ano nangyari? Mali ba yung nakopya ko? Ano yun? Geom smooth using method lowest. Tama naman. Bakit hindi niya print? Ayan, tagal lang. Zoom. Yan, so a lot better. Alam niyo naman guys na pwede nating i-modify pa yung dimensions, etc. Okay? So you agree with me guys na this is a lot better presentation of the plot compared dun sa default themes ni ggplot, no? Okay. So marami pang ibang guys, marami pa kayong ibang pwedeng gamitin dun sa dito sa GG themes natin. Okay, so let's continue. So may isang graph na tayo guys, no? Then we have here, since we're doing this in Flex Dashboard, okay, this signals another plot, hashtag na 3. So this is now a plot of, edit ko na muna yan. Okay, let's see. I'm calling it P2. Then we're plotting on the x-axis. See here. Okay, life expectancy naman. So ito year at saka life expectancy. Again, continent. Tapos i-grid natin. Okay, you recall this facet wrap and facet grid by continent. Scales. By the way, guys, nakalimutan ko i-discuss to. Sometimes it might not be the size, the dimension of your plot might not be to your liking. So you can include this annotation, fig that width is equal to 4, fig that width is equal to height. No? So nung rinan natin to, ulitin ko, notice na mas malaki yung width, relatively, mas malaki yung width, okay, to height 6 by 4. You can change that through this one. But that will take some trial and error, no, until you find the right proportion. But the way to go about it is this one, guys. Figure that width is equal to, figure that height is equal to. In this case, I made it 6 yung width, 4 yung height. So it's a 6 by 4 rectangle with the width being greater. Okay? So I leave you guys to experiment. Kunyari gawin natin tong 4x4. Okay, just to illustrate. And then run natin to. You'll see that it has now become a medyo naging square na siya, no? Which might not be very good as far as this is concerned. This plot is concerned. So I'll revert it. Okay. So, all right. Then the next plot. Yeah. P2. So I called it P2. And then ano naman naman ito? We're plotting yung years x-axis, yung life expectancy sa y-axis. Again, naka-facet to by continent. Then ito naman facet grid by continent. Tapos free x. Kaya ano ibig sabihin ng free x? Ibig sabihin ng free x, guys, yung width, no, is proportional to the length of the scale. Kapag ginawa nating ano yan, ginawa nating free y, okay, free yung y, ibig sabihin yung length naman. Kasi yung x natin pertains to the width, tapos yung y natin pertains to the length. So, pag free y yan, ibig sabihin yung height is proportional to the length of the scale. So, yung pinoproportionate natin si y. Pag free x, ang pinoproportionate natin si x. So, this is a jitter. No? Jitter, and then, okay, tingnan nyo lang to guys yung scale coloring, no, na manual. So, kindly check this function kung anong ginagawa nito. So, notice guys that here, hindi ko masyadong tinitingnan yung mga functions. I will leave you guys to explore that kasi kaya nyo namang gawin yan. Ang objective natin dito, makapag-create ng ilang plots para ma-create natin dashboard natin. Okay, but let's run this. So ito yung P2 natin. Yan. So alam naman natin na naka-facet grid yung ano natin. Okay? Facet grid. Okay, by continent. Okay, then naka-jitter siya with transparency equal to 1/3, size is equal to 3, and then my coloring. Okay, so pwede rin di pa naalala niyo isa. Tignan natin facet wrap. Pag facet wrap to, let's see if what's the difference. Ayan. Okay. This is facet wrap. No? All right. So, leave na lang natin na ganyan yan. So, let's move on, guys. This dash lines indicates that this is another column of our first page. 500, 50%, ito 500 din. So, expect 2 columns lang kasi 50%, 50% yan. So, we have here a plot. So we're now creating another plot, P3, and isa lang yung axis natin dito, yung life expectancy, geome density. So this is quite similar to a histogram. Diba pag histogram guys, isang quantitative variable lang. So geome density is the same as a histogram, only in a different format. Lines lang siya, hindi siya bars. Tapos, in-static natin si continent. Ibig sabihin, guys, kahit nandito siya kay geome, this is still part of the mapping. So, we will expect a value distribution sa side ng plot. Okay, kasi minap natin si continent. Okay, then alpha of 0.25. So, let's plot this. Yan. Geome smooth, di ba? instead of vertical bars, we have a smooth line. So ito yung Africa, Americas is the green one, Asia is the dark green, Europe is blue, Oceania is okay. So what do we make of this plot? So this is life expectancy. Makikita natin na yung concentration ng life expectancy sa Africa is just around mga less than 50, no? Ito yung average median nila. While malaki sa sa Australia, concentration is around here 70 plus, no? Pati sa US. Sa Asia naman yung green concentration, medyo ganun din, 60 plus. Okay, kaso yung sa atin, maraming medyo skewed siya to the left, maraming mga values sa kaliwa. Okay, si Africa medyo distributed siya both to the left and to the right. Okay, so this tells us about yung life expectancy, no, sa which reminds me na quickly ano lang natin to ng konti, hindi pa natin pala na-discuss yung plot para may a little appreciation lang tayo. So this is GDP per capita. Yung mga red, ito, si Africa. So we can see here, yung may kasamang geom smooth. Yung concentration sa Africa is low GDP per capita, low din yung life expectancy. Samantalang dito yung matataas, dito yung mga green, Europe, no? Matataas. Dito yung concentration ng nila, ng life expectancy. And mataas din yung nila, yung GDP per capita. No? Itong color na to, Asia. So, meron tayong, medyo spread out siya. Merong mabababa yung GDP, tapos mabababa din yung life expectancy. Meron din dito, mataas yung GDP per capita, pero medyo mababa din yung life expectancy. Ito yung sinabi ko kanina guys na medyo may skewness yung sa Asia. Sa Africa, medyo talagang concentration dito sa low life expectancy, low GDP per capita. So which tells us that there seems to be a direct or positive relationship between life expectancy and GDP per capita. Mababa yung GDP per capita, mababa din yung life expectancy. And that's to be expected kasi, syempre, pag mataas yung GDP, guys, maraming panggastos yung government for services that might promote yung long life. No? Kunyari, health services. Kunyari, sa mga children, yung, sabihin natin, yung mga diseases to control, diseases that are prone, that are usually experienced by children, like maybe measles, tuberculosis, polio. So kung may panggastos yung government ng ganun, okay, edi humahaba yung buhay ng mga tao. No? So I hope you see the logic, guys. No? It seems to be telling us that the consistent siya on a per continent basis. Kasi here we have a facet of different continents. No? So nakikita natin dito na consistently sa Europe, matataas yung GDP per capita nila. Mataas din yung average na life expectancy. And that goes also with the rest. Africa, ganun din. Okay, so that's just to understand the plot a bit, para hindi lang tayo plot ng plot kasi hindi natin naiintindihan. Okay, this one. This is interesting, guys. Ito yung galing sa collapsible tree. So, I'll leave you guys to seek the help in R kung ano ba itong collapsible tree na to. Sige, ilagay na rin natin para habang inaaral natin. Okay. Collapsible tree. Ito yung package. Control C, Control V. Oops. Question mark. So what is this package all about? Okay, interactive tree diagrams. Okay. So may mga advantages to. It's coming from the package collapsible tree. Okay. So we won't be looking at the details of this. Okay. Pero if we take a look at yung functional summary, yung ginagamit natin. No? So ito yung ito yung syntax niya. Okay. So these are the parameters. And there's a guide here kung paano i-complete. So, ang ginawa natin dito, okay, ang attribute na pinaplot natin is GDP. Ito siya. Okay, so remember, wala tayong GDP sa GM, pero mayroon tayong sa GM1. Kasi mutate natin to, di ba? We mutated this variable from GM and created this object GM1. Okay, so what does this do? GM1 and then collapsible tree summary. So ang mga parameters ito, hierarchy, ano yung mauuna? Siyempre, pag hierarchy, siyempre mauuna dapat yung mas malaki. So dito gusto natin makita continent and then country. Tapos ang root natin, ibig sabihin sa pinakaunang node, 50 biggest countries. Okay? Kaya galing yan sa GM1. No? Kasi si GM1 yung may mga, siya yung 50 lang, di ba? 50 na observations. And then percent of parent, true. Ano ibig sabihin nito? Dun sa parent, guys, I'll show you in a while, kukunin yung percentage na with, sa font to, no? Arbitrary naman yan. You can experiment kung anong mangyayari, kung 1,000, etc. And then attribute, anong variable yung kinokollapse natin, yung GDP. Tapos zoomable, ibig sabihin ng zoomable, pwede nyo lang siyang i-mouse, i-move around, which hindi naman natin kailangan, no? P5. If you want to explore that, guys, then i-true nyo lang. No? So i-plot, i-run natin to. Okay, so ito siya. No? It's an interactive plot. So if I notice, guys, yung first node natin, sabi natin, yung ang pangalan niya, 50 biggest countries. Yung first node natin is yung hierarchy. So ito continent, di ba? Okay, ito pala, sorry, ito yung 50 biggest nodes. Tapos, yung unang hierarchy natin is yung continent. Okay, and that's interactive. Pag clinic natin tong Asia, yan. So ito yung mga countries sa Asia. That's your second node kasi yung hierarchy natin, continent and then node. So this is highly interactive. So pwede nating okay. Yun nga lang, guys, hindi natin siya mapalaki. So kahit na i-export ko siya dito. Yan. Mas malaki din dito. At least a little bit bigger compared dun sa kanina. Okay. Anong sinasabi nito? Biggest countries, GDP 100%. Pagdating natin sa Asia, okay, tinan mo, 38.19%. So kasi di ba sinabi natin dito, yung sa code natin, ito, percent of parent is equal to true. So kukunin niya yung percent sa parent. Okay, so ibig sabihin nito, guys, oops, saan na ako? Here. Si China accounts for 38% of the GDP of this whole sample size here. Ito yung 50 biggest countries in population. No? Dapat ginawa ko palang 50 biggest countries in terms of population into 2007. Okay. So si China, 38% nung total nito. Si America's 35%. Okay. Europe, Africa, and then Oceania. And then, nung clinic natin to, guys, lumabas yung mga levels niya. Diba? Sa Asia, ito yung mga countries. Nandito sa Philippines, ito. And si Philippines, it accounts for, okay, 1.48% of the total in Asia. Okay, note, babalik siya dito. No? I-refer natin siya sa parent. Kasi, ang parent nito mga to, ito. Ang parent naman ito, ito. So, by parent yan. Okay, clear yun, guys? Itong collapsible tree summary natin. Clear ba? Paki-chat nga, guys, kung clear. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, good. All right, let's move on to another. Delete ko naman itong mga plots na ito. Ay, wait. Nasa ano pala ako? Nasa viewer. Okay. Then we go to, so ano ibig sabihin ito guys? Part 2. Equal sign, ibig sabihin, panibagong page yan. Okay, ibig sabihin ng panibagong page, pag binuksan natin yung Flex dashboard, yung unang makikita mo sa whole screen is the first page. Then you have to click the tab for page 2 para makita natin yung page 2. Okay, so again, we have another sample here. Expectancy by continent. So ggplot, GM ulit. Sa x-axis is your continent. Okay, so this is a character variable. Sa y, yung life expectancy. Tapos gagamit tayo ng box plot at saka box jitter, GM jitter. Alam natin guys na pag box plot, you have the 5 number summaries plus the outliers. So dito, pinasok natin na outlier.color should be hot pink, no? Para ma-distinguish yung outlier dun sa mga non-outlier points. GM jitter, okay, width is 0.1, height 0. Okay, hindi naman natin kailangan specify sa height. And then, si transparency is 1/4, then i-print natin. So let's print P6. Yan. Okay, so you have here your okay, box plot. Dito yung mga whiskers natin. And then you can see here the outliers. No? Lagyan natin hot pink outliers. And then here, this one. So the first one is Africa. Tapos andito si Americas. So we can see here that the median ng life expectancy ng Americas is really higher, much higher than Africa. So sa lahat ng continent, sa Africa yung pinakamababa na median na life expectancy. Pinakamataas si Oceania, which is Australia, and then Europe, and then Americas. Tapos si Asia at saka si Africa. Pero makikita natin dito guys, medyo widely spread out, no, si Asia. Pero wala siyang outlier. May outlier pa nga si Americas. Kasi marami rin mga poor countries sa Americas, whether it's yung Central America, South America. Okay? For example, yung Haiti, no? Very poor country. Dominican Republic, although mas mahirap si Haiti. And iba pang mga countries sa Central America like Nicaragua. No? Okay, so these are relatively poor countries. Sabi natin, pag may poor countries, then meron ding mga yung direct relationship ng ng GDP per capita at saka life expectancy. Okay? So it's interesting to know what this is. So pwede natin mahanap yan. So sa Europe dito may mga mahihirap din life expectancy lang kasi mini-measure natin dito. Meron mga countries na malayo dun sa median ng average age life expectancy sa Europe. Oceania is Australia. So kita natin medyo uniformly spread out siya, no? Tapos very short yung tails, ang liit ng tails. Okay, so that's another plot, guys. Okay, so this is another GG plot, P7 na tayo, no? P7, pinaplot natin, sinasubset natin si GM. Paano natin sinasubset? Continent not equal to Oceania. Ibig sabihin, tatanggalin natin si Oceania, tapos imamap natin, pareho lang sa taas guys, X is equal to year, Y is equal to life expectancy. Kaya so i-group natin dito, group by country, color by country, and then maglalagay tayo ng line, okay? Line width, gawin nga natin 2. Wag na natin ilagay yung legend. Tapos naka-wrap siya, tapos may scale color. Tapos ito, familiar na tayo dito, theme black and white, just a simple black and white. Tapos may yung theme strip.text. So medyo pala, no? Gawin natin 1 kasi mukhang baka strip text to eh. Okay, sige. Let's run this, guys. Ayan, no? Okay. So, of course, guys, if we take a look at this, medyo ang hirap i-interpret, di ba? Sa y-axis yung life expectancy, dito by year. So makikita natin na si Asia, it's quite difficult really. No? If we're comparing Asia and Europe, talagang di hamak na mas mababa yung life expectancy sa Asia in the 1950s. No? Tapos, nung dumating ng 2007, medyo nakaka-catch up sila. No? Medyo life expectancy halos pareho na. Although may mga natitira, no? May mga medyo na-delay, no? Mababa pa rin yung life expectancy. Okay? Sorry, Asia. Asia pala to. Dito naman sa Africa, meron dito no, may bumaba dito. This was in the year mga bago mag 2000. It will be interesting to study what country is this. Okay, ano kaya tong country na to sa Africa? Tapos and then maybe study why this was so. Okay. So, that's another example of a plot, guys. Kaso, ako personally, I would not recommend creating plots that are quite difficult to interpret. No? Kasi it does not add value. But nevertheless, we just added this to populate our dashboard. Yun naman yung reason dun. No? Not to say that this is a good plot. I find this to be not so good. No? So sa project nyo na gagawa kayo ng dashboard, you may use the same data that you used before, or you may use another set of data. I'll give further announcements about that. Then ito naman guys, average, no? Average GDP per continent. So if you take a look at this, okay, we're using here deep layer. Tapos may Greeno group siya. Tapos may sinasummarize. Okay, ang summarize guys, it allows us to compute a certain value. Usually yung either average pwede. Kaya nga dito ang tawag natin sa ano na to, sa variable na to, average GDP, and it's computed by getting the mean, the average of the GDP per capita. Okay? And then, so nag-deploy R muna tayo. Okay? Nag-create muna tayo ng variable na average na GDP. Okay? Tapos, and then plus, yung ano natin, yung geometric object natin is align. Okay? Width niya is equal to 2. Tapos may label yung plot natin. Okay, then may theme. Okay, tingnan nyo na lang kung ano yung theme na HC, guys. And CY. CY kasi yung ano natin, yung variable natin na GDP per capita, guys. Y is equal to average GDP. So, continuous ang gagawin natin sa kanya. Okay, so let's run this P6. P6. Okay. So you can see here guys yung diba? Naka-group siya by, naka-facet siya by ayan o. Naka-group by year and by continent. So group natin siya by year and by continent. Okay, so sorry, ito yung lumabas. So here we can see that over time, across time, talagang ang taas ng average GDP, average to, no? Average GDP per capita ni Australia. Okay, sandali. Bago tayo tumuloy, sandali. Kaso P6 yung ginamit natin, ano? Okay, sige. Okay, then you have here si Europe, and then ang pinakamaliit talaga si Africa. So here we can see visually that yung average GDP per capita talagang malayo si Africa as compared to Australia and Europe. Okay, so there's another plot, guys. So aside from plots, pwede rin gamitin yung pwede rin tayo maglagay ng text, no? Text or tables. So dito, so saan galing yung aggregate function? Sige nga guys, saan galing yung aggregate function? What's your answer, guys? Where does the aggregate function come from? Ano package yan? Hello, anong package si aggregate? Ito, aggregate. We're using it as a function. Pero saan galing package yan? Anyone, please? Hello guys, andyan pa ba kayo? Anong package? dplyr? Hindi. Not dplyr. So, paano natin malalaman kung saan galing ang package? Very easy, guys. Di ba yung help function natin? Question mark, aggregate. Ganun lang, no? Ganun lang naman yan kung may gusto kong malaman about a certain function. Ayan, no? From the stats package. Ngayon, ang tanong ko, bakit can we do this kahit hindi pa natin naloload si stat? Yes, kasi si stats, guys, it already comes with base R. Pag open nyo kay R, guys, kasama na siya. So, hindi na natin kailangan i-load yan. Default na naka-load na rin yan. Okay, so we can study the function. Pero ito ang sinasabi, ang ina-aggregate natin dito, yung life expectancy by continent, saan galing, anong data, GM, and then median. So if we run this, guys, anong mangyayari? Anong mangyayari? Ipagsasama-sama niya lahat ng sa Africa, and then kukunin niya yung median nun. So ito yung median ng life expectancy sa Africa, 47, the lowest among the 5 continents. The highest is Oceania with 73, no? 73.67. Tapos Asia, nasa gitna yung Asia, 61. Okay. So makikita natin yung potential implications, yung quality of life sa Oceania, tsaka sa Americas. Mas mataas kaysa Europe is very close behind at 72, and they're really a lot higher than Africa, no? Yung life expectancy. So on the average, isang Australian will live up to 74 years. On the average, an African will live only up to 48 years. So ang laki ng discrepancy. So may plus 27 years being Australian and minus 27 years being African. Kawawa. Okay, and then here, pwede nating gawin din to, pero 2007 lang. Kasi ito, guys, yung ginawa natin, this is for the whole year, whole period, 1952 hanggang 2007, kinuha yung median. If you're interested to find out yung pinaka-latest dun sa video, so i-filter natin siya. So GM, and then filter yung year 2007, and then i-group by natin by continent, and then summarize natin si life expectancy by median ng life expectancy. Okay? And then run this. Okay. So notice yung 2007, si Oceania, 80, no? Compared to the whole period na median. Okay? At least si Africa, tumaas. No? Kasi kanina 47 yan. Naging nadagdagan ng 5 years. Yung median ng life expectancy. The others also increased. Okay. All right. So that's another table, and that can be included also as part of the dashboard. Okay. Third part. Okay. Malapit na mag-oras. Okay. Third part. So let's hurry up para maano natin. Ito, guys, heat map lang to, no? Heat map. So I'll not really explain line by line. Pero ito, nag-create tayo ng isang object GM6. Saan siya nanggaling? Kay GM. Tapos finilter lang natin si 2007. Tapos si continent, hindi kasama si Oceania. Okay? And then nag-insert tayo ng panibagong column. Ang tawag sa kanya, GDP, which is just the same also as a population times GDP per capita. So medyo, ito, ibang object to kaysa kanina sa GM1. Ano? Kasi ito hanggang 2007 lang. Si GM1 ba hanggang 2000? Hanggang 2007 lang din. Kasi ito, binase natin sa, tsaka wala ditong, ano pa ba ang difference? Let's see. Walang Oceania dito. No? Remember guys, the exclamation point means not equal to. Okay, then, so may GM6 na tayo. Then, ang gagawin natin, okay, P8, plot natin. Ang gagamitin natin si tree map. Ito yung galing kanina sa tree map natin na package. And then, meron pa dito iba, may subgroup border, may subgroup text, may text color mismo, yung geom tree map, okay, etc. Okay, so these are just the different functionalities of your tree map. Okay, may color schemes na, remember guys, yung R color brewer, may different ways to name your color. And this is one of them, yung hashtag, tapos yung 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, hashtag 6. Ito yung hexadecimal method. Okay, hexadecimal means 7. No? Itong hashtag, then FO, this represents a particular color. Okay, so let's run this chunk. Run. Okay, you have this. Yan. Okay, so you see this is a, it's a good way also to present the tree map. Parang heat map lang din siya, class. Okay, dito, ano ba yung inaano natin dito? Anong pinat natin? It's the GDP, no? It's the GDP. So makikita natin dito, by color coding, hindi kasama si Oceania, di ba? Kasi not Oceania, Americas, Asia, Europe, Africa. And then we have the subsetting. Okay? Dito nang galing yan. Sa subgroup, no? Sa subgroup. Okay. Yung text. Okay, subgroup by continent. Okay, and label by country. Okay, so these are the parameters of this code, which brings us this output. No? So si Philippines, ito si Philippines. No? So this is GDP in terms of total and also in terms of Asia. So si China ang pinakamalaki sa Asia. So mas malaki si Thailand sa GDP natin as of 2007. Malaysia, Philippines medyo magkalapit lang. At Indonesia is a lot bigger. Siyempre, mas malaki yung GDP niyan kasi grabing population. At in 2007, 200 plus na, tayo 91 million. But of course, it doesn't follow naman ako, mat malaki yung population, malaki ng GDP. That doesn't happen at all times. Okay. Alright, so let's continue. Itong next, anong gagawin natin? We're now creating another object, GM7. Okay. And anong create natin? Okay, ito. Yung 2007 lang kasama. Tapos ang kasama lang Asia. No? 2007 lang kasama at saka Asia. And then i-arrange niya GDP per capita. Ibig sabihin, lowest to highest, highest to lowest, guys. Lowest to highest by GDP per capita or highest to lowest? Answer? Ano ba ang default kapag arrange? It's paki-unmute guys kung if you want to answer. Okay, lowest to highest. Correct. Thank you. Thank you. It's lowest to highest. No? If you want highest to lowest, then in a negative nito. And then remember mutate. This is creating another variable or modifying a variable. Ito, hindi naman nag-create ng variable. Sinasabi lang na si country dapat factor siya. No? Okay, ang kinukuha yung levels per country. So apparently, yung GM, guys, ano siya, yung country doon, character variable. So i-mutate natin, gagawin natin siyang factor. And call the object GM7. Tapos dito, magpa-plot ulit tayo. Sa x-axis, yung GDP per capita. Sa y-axis, yung life expectancy. 2007 lang. Okay, ilolog natin yung log 10 yung x-axis. No? Tapos may pangalan siya, label, scales, dollar. So G yung point, tapos may color andito. Scale size, continuous. Okay, may label yung axis natin. Okay, guides, and then theme, may theme siya. Okay, we won't go through the nitty-gritty of this, guys, but I strongly urge you to look at this, no? And then study it. Tingnan nyo kung try to explore kung ano binibigay nun. Yung labels, madali lang yan kasi label lang naman ng ano. Yung iba, guys, na pag-aralan natin. Pero meron dito mga functionalities na hindi pa natin ang papag-aralan. But that's very easy kasi andito naman si helper. Kaya si Google, no? Madaling makita yan. Run natin to. So we're expecting okay, ito siya. Yan. So mga point siya, no? G yung point kasi. No? Tapos finil natin by continent. And then shape 21 means circle. Okay? So resize siya based on wait. Ito fill is equal to continent. Okay? All right? Although isa lang kasi yung continent natin kasi Asia lang to kaya isa lang nag-appear dito. Fill by continent, ibig sabihin, isa lang yung ifa-facet niya. No? Eh, kasi, ang continent natin, Asia lang. So, isa lang ifa-facet niya. And true enough, Asia lang. Okay, so makikita natin dito, guys. This is GDP per capita. So, may mga countries na napakataas talaga ng GDP per capita. These are Asian countries, 33, I think 34 countries. So it would be good, guys, kung anuhin natin to, let's see kung magagawa natin na Plotly. No? Remember, guys, yung Plotly, copy natin to, Control C. I'll plot it here in ggplotly P9. So if you recall, guys, si Plotly converts a static chart into a interactive chart. So let's see. Okay. All right. So kailangan natin i-show in new window siya. Ayan. So this was our static ggplot kanina. With the ggplotly function, ginawa siyang interactive. So it's a lot better than just the static plot. Kasi kunyari sa interactive, you recall, pwede nating i-highlight ito, guys, yun nyo, no? Although, hindi kasi natin sinama dun sa code kung na kailangan i-identify by country, but we can do that. No? So ito, hindi niya linalagay kung anong country yun. Pero linalagay niya yung population, GDP per capita, at saka life expectancy. And then recall, guys, na pwede nating yan. For example, this one. So dalawa lang yung lalabas. Pwede natin i-zoom. Okay. To go back, just double click, no? All right. So may mga ibang pang functionalities ang ggplot. Okay. Depende din, of course, guys, sa plot natin. Okay. Now, may I request you guys to put here ggplotly. Okay. So let's create another object. Gawin natin okay. Magka-problema kaya. May object na tayo na P9 tapos may P10. Okay. Okay, hindi na. Ito na lang, no? Instead of Plotly, we put here GG Plotly. Okay. So, a few more plots. So, di ba dito, this is part 3, page 3. So, this is one column, 60% yung width niya. Ito naman, another column, 40% yung width niya. Okay. So, let's see. Ito, guys, 40%, tapos dalawang chart dito. So, ang ginagawa natin dito, we're creating another object, GM10. If you filter natin si GM. Okay, so this is another way, guys, of doing the filter function. Kanina, di ba, ang ginawa natin kanina is GM, and then, di ba, nag-indent tayo. Oops, mali. Oh, mali. Ay. Ito. Yan. Dali Ito mahirap pag tools, global options. Sometimes it's very difficult to okay, pane layout. Yan. Apply. Hindi ko makita yung ano. Anyway, sige, ganito na muna. Okay, so run ko na muna to. So this is we are creating a plot P10, no? So ang data natin ito, si GM10, which is an object with Philippines, Thailand. I-run muna natin si GM10 para makita natin kung anong laman ito. So GM10, so this is now Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, 1952 at saka 2007. So panel data siya, limited lang to the ASEAN 5 and years to 1952 at saka 2007. Okay. Dali pinapahirapan ako nito Wait. Time na. Okay, anyway, sige. Guys, plot ko na lang to. Plot natin. So we have this plot. It shows us yung galaw ng ng GDP per capita, no? Philippines from 1952, ito 2007. Si Singapore, ito 1952, halos pareho lang, no? Pero grabe, no? Grabe yung yung development talaga ng Singapore, ng Malaysia, ng Thailand, si Indonesia at saka si Philippines. Although among the five, si Philippines ang kulelat, no? In terms of GDP per capita. Okay? After the World War, medyo maganda na sana tayo kahit papano, pero wala, naiwanan tayo, no? And the last plot is this one. Last plot to, guys. Okay, so this is also okay. Asian countries naman to, no? So let's run this. We're creating this object. Finilter din natin. Asia naman, no? Hindi lang yung Philippines, ano? So this is quite similar to the above. Only that Asia yung tinitingnan natin dito. So let's run this. Okay. And then we have this. Yan. So yung 33 or 34 countries yata ng Asia. Tapos yung galaw niya, okay, so you notice this plots, no? Yung galaw ng GDP per capita. Ito, life expectancy. So, ang malalaking life expectancy, Israel, Japan, China, Hong Kong, etc. Asa na sa Philippines, dito banda tayo, 70 plus. Ito yata, no? Okay. Over 70 din naman. Okay? So once we're done with this, guys, sorry may I extend by a few more minutes, 2 more minutes na lang. We need this now, need. Okay. Pag need nyo, once again, guys, tatanungin kayo kung sa akin, okay, hindi na kasi na-need ko na to kanina, no? So this one, nag-need na siya. Pag may error, mag-error yan, magsa-stop yan. So you have to check kung siya nagka-error. 79%, then okay na, yan. Okay? So ibig sabihin okay na siya. Output, MD, so lalabas na to. So this is now our HTML file. Okay, yan. 3 pages, part 1, part 2, part 3. Okay, this is the main dashboard. Part 1, ito yung mga plots natin, ano? This is also interactive here, no? Kung interactive, guys, dun sa ano natin, sa RMD, interactive din siya dito. Okay? Then this one, okay, ito yung mga plinat natin kanina, ito yung text natin, yung table. And then lastly, this one, okay? Okay, notice guys na, question lang guys, nag-appear ba yung yung ggplotly sa inyo? Paki-chat nga guys kung naging animated to. Nagka-problem ako, ito yung I have to resolve guys. Kasi doon sa ibang class, gumagana naman yung ano nila, ggplotly na how about sa inyo guys? Quick feedback nga, gumana ba yung ggplotly natin ito? Paki yes or no lang. Hello? Feedback lang please kung gumana. Yes, good. Yung sa iba, no?
Gumana po.
Gumana, Azi, thank you, no? So, makikita mo dito yung mga tools for interactive, no? Nakita mo ba? Interactive ba siya or hindi? Itong plot mo dito. Yung ginawa nating ggplotly. Hindi din. Okay. Hindi. Pero nag-generate siya ng plot. Binago mo ba? Ginawa mo bang ggplotly? Okay. Kasi sa akin guys, nung binago ko, di ba ginawa ko siyang ggplotly. Hindi siya no? So, one last guys. One last. Pero pag gawin ko siyang lang, pag hindi ko ilagay yung ggplotly, gumagana siya. But that should not be the case. So, meron akong hinahanap na problema dito kung bakit siya hindi nagiging ganon. So, tinanggal ko yung ggplotly. Quickly, knit lang. Knit. Okay. Tapos, lalabas na siya. Pero dapat lumabas, guys. Dapat lumabas yung ggplotly na yun. So, I'll try to see what's happening. Okay. So, let me end here, guys. Okay, so ito na lang. Ito, yan, gumana na siya. Gumana na siya. Okay, but that should work, no? Okay, sige. Okay, thank you so much guys. I'll stop ko na tong we'll continue this.